Yes, because fucking violations of speech is treason. Free speech. Absolute free speech. There is no instance where any of our constitutional rights have a reasonable exception. They are absolute. They are our fucking rights. The fact that you people don't even understand this is sad to me. People from other countries understand this better. That's why they still come here for a better life. And then they look at you like, I just left that garbage. Why do you think it's going to make this better? I'm just saying. All right, moving right along, we're going to start talking about Project Veritas's founder, James O'Keefe, he was banned off of Twitter because they said he had a bunch of fake profiles that he was like sharing fake information from. And I guess that's not true according to James O'Keefe, so he's suing them. Oh, this is going to get juicy because the government won't do it. Maybe people will do it. It's about time that people have done it. And people should do it because the censorship is out of control. All right, let's get into this. Project Veritas, James O'Keefe sues Twitter for alleged defamation. I'm not going to fault them for saying alleged because technically you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and James O'Keefe has made a accusation and he has to prove it. Project Veritas has a huge wall of retractions. Their integrity is almost unparalleled. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna prove it. But he technically has to prove it before. So the alleged is actually a good framing. Permanently suspended his account last week. Right, Project Veritas sues Twitter on Monday for alleged defamation. So Twitter banned a conservative activist last week amid his publication of contempt purporting to show a CNN staffer talking about the network's efforts to defeat former President Donald Trump. Twitter cited its policies on platform manipulation and spam and explaining its ban on Mr. O'Keefe last week. Mr. O'Keefe's lawsuit in New York claimed that Twitter alleged that Mr. O'Keefe was operating fake accounts and explaining its decision to remove Mr. O'Keefe's accounts for journalists. And I can't wait till he shows that those are just bot troll accounts and he has nothing to do with them, and you're going to get fucking schmacked in the face. Anthony Fauci, we're going to talk about you in a second, you fucking piece. The reason Twitter never warned Mr. O'Keefe or otherwise took action relating to his supposed operation of fake accounts as alleged above prior to his permanent suspension is that Mr. O'Keefe does not own, control, or use or operate fake Twitter accounts, read the lawsuit. Twitter's claim that Mr. O'Keefe's misled others on Twitter by operating fake accounts is false and defamatory. As it relevant to Twitter's false claim, Mr. O'Keefe only ever used his personal account to tweet links to the Project Veritas reports about CNN, as did many thousands of other Twitter users. Twitter declined to comment on the lawsuit, because they know they can't say anything because they know they're fucking communist trash that allows fucking child porn. Last week, Twitter told the Washington Times that Mr. O'Keefe was banned for violating Twitter's rules on platform manipulation and spam. The Twitter spokesperson noted that the company's policies prevent users from misleading others on Twitter by operating fake accounts and stop users from artificially amplifying or disrupting conversations via multiple accounts. Twitter said last week that its suspension of Mr. O'Keefe's meant he would not be able to start a new account, but did not answer whether it suspended other accounts alongside Mr. O'Keefe. And that's it. So if James O'Keefe is telling the truth and they are talking shit about him, they're ruining his fucking reputation and therefore his business, and they should get sued for defamation. I mean, I think Twitter should have their company taken from them. I'm with Clarence Thomas. Utilize those bastards, tax them out the wazoo, and make them, and just fuck them in the ass, all of them. Every last one of them, big tech, Parler included, because you joined big tech, pieces. Because any corporate convention or any coup or intervention on behalf of politics and corporations to further an outcome that's unconstitutional should be fucking treated as treason. It should be treated as absolute treason. Because it is. It's absolute treason. Anything unconstitutional passed that's not passed through the Constitutional Convention of States, Constitutional Convention process is unconstitutional and therefore treason. The Constitution doesn't limit the people. It doesn't tell the people what it can do. It limits the government. You get rid of it, they're going to have no limits. And when they have no limits, they're going to do atrocious shit. Because it's government, and that's what fucking government does. There's no government in the history of government that hasn't done atrocious shit like that. All your people are like, the government's systemic, systematic racism, the government's trash and Nazis, but then you fucking support it. It's fucking crazy. You're deranged. You have mental illness. I'm on James O'Keefe's side. He has an impeccable track record. That wall of retractions is ridiculous. Put Twitter up there, bro. I'm until I'm shown otherwise. I tend to believe James O'Keefe, but I'm not gonna like. Twitter deserves a trial, and if they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, then I mean, it is what it is. That's what it is. It is, and it is what it is. It is. It is. Because that's just the circus we live in. I mean, better fucking 10 guilty men go free than one innocent man suffer. I'm just saying. That's just freedom. I really hate this censorship. I hate this unconstitutional crap. I hate going after the Second Amendment. I hate fucking no warrants being used. I hate this fascist authoritarian tyranny. This is not a 1984, the dystopian novel. We're not the motherfucking Hunger Games. This is fucking reality. We all need to stand the fuck up and start changing what's going on. We got to start doing what James O'Keefe is doing. Sue these people. I mean, I wish I could. I'd sue fucking YouTube for what their fucking medical information. I've been trying to find a lawyer, but like, unless you have like lots of money, nobody's willing to fucking even like help you. There's no like free lawyers out there fucking donating their time to like these people, and that needs to change. The only way we win is by fucking just doing our own thing. The government gets its fucking its control over the corporations. What they get their rights to do by the consent of the governed or the serviced. Without the fucking people agreeing to their garbage, it's just not gonna happen. They can't do it. They can't sustain it. They can't fight it. It's impossible. And we all need to learn that again. And we need to stand the fuck up, put our goddamn foot down, and smack the government in the proverbial face and tell it to sit the fuck back down. Go back to the kitty corner. You're grounded. I'm just saying. All right, finally continuing. We're going to move on to the final topic of today's Thought of the Day podcast. Senator Ron Paul says fucking Fauci should be voluntarily removed for fear-mongering. And this is glorious because that asshole has been fucking retarded, and I don't understand how he's in charge of medicine right now. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let's get into this article because it's this topic puts a smile on my face because I think it should be done there. So what the hell is this? I don't want to like fit my budget or whatever. I want to read the damn article. So Ron Paul Fauci should be voluntarily removed from TV for fear-mongering. This is the Washington Examiner. Senator Ron Paul advocates that Dr. Anthony Fauci not be hosted on any television programs due to his fear-mongering and advice that isn't even matched by the science of his own institute. And I fucking absolutely agree, because it isn't matched by the science of his own institute. And he just keeps fucking saying random shit and contradicting himself, and he should be fucking removed. And I was like, here we go. Dr. Fauci should be involuntarily removed from TV because he says it's such a disservice in such fear-mongering, and almost all of what he says isn't even matched by the science of his own institute, Paul, who is also a doctor, said on Fox Business Tuesday. Paul's comments came after a question regarding Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer recommending against indoor dining or holding youth outdoor sports as the state's coronavirus cases ticked up. It doesn't obey the science. There is no scientific evidence the lockdowns in Michigan have done anything, or in California. In fact, the daily incidence of the disease in the last 2 months has been almost 1.5 times greater in California than it has been in Florida. The death rate is lower in Florida, so there is no real correlation between economic lockdown, mask mandates, any of this, he said. Here are Fauci's biggest flip-flops and backtracks. This is going to be good on the coronavirus and pandemic. It is a television malpractice for these TV doctors to come on and say the mask is so much more important than the vaccine. It is so much more of an immediate benefit. No, it is not. Most of the people who are getting the disease have been wearing masks. The vaccine works. Almost nobody that's been vaccinated has been hospitalized or died. Almost no one, Paul added. The Kentucky Republican has repeatedly sparred with it. Last month, the two had heated exchange during the Senate hearing over coronavirus restrictions, with Paul accusing Fauci of performing theater by wearing 2 masks. If we're not spreading the infection, isn't it just theater? He asked Fauci during a Senate hearing. If you've had the vaccine and you're wearing 2 masks, isn't that theater? No, it is not. Here you go again with the theater, Fauci responded. They just argue back and forth. Government bureaucracy baggery. Let me just state for the record that masks are not a theater. Masks are protective, he added, which is supported by the CDC's defense guide. Paul also slammed Fauci as a left-wing advocate for elitism for his handling of guiding the nation during the pandemic. Fauci is busy wearing 3 masks, strutting around and getting books written about him and everybody calling him the world's best doctor, when in reality all he is a TV pundit and really a left-wing advocate for elitism. Paul is just fucking roasting him. If Dr. Fauci wanted to save lives, he could be saving on his 4 trips to CNN each day. Is that you can have your life saved if you get the monocular antibodies before you get too sick. This Kennedy senator said proteins that mimic the immune system's ability to fight off viruses. But if you wait too long, they won't give them to you and you won't go to the ventilator. And you'll go to the ventilator. Oh. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, but I agree. I agree with Senator Ron Paul. Dr. Fauci has flip-flopped too much. He's masks don't work, masks do work. Oh, I just didn't want you to have a mask because I wanted them to have a mask. Oh, so I fuck you. Like that, you don't have the right to say that. You should. Government officials should not be able to lie to people on television, period. If they're caught lying to people on television, it should be a capital crime. It should come with the death penalty. It should be crimes for government officials. The punishments have to be so egregious nobody fucking does it. That's how you keep the government in line. I'm just fucking saying. The punishments for fucking violating your office as a government official should be so egregious that nobody fucking does it. No, and right now the punishment for lying in government office is more time in government office. It needs to be tar and feathered, stoned to death, guillotine, firing squad, lethal injection. It needs to be the most it needs to have the most fucking the most egregious punishment because it is the most egregious crime. It's a crime against humanity, violating your office as in a government official. It's a crime against humanity. It's a crime against you people. It's a crime against humanity. It should be treated as such. I'm just saying, like, the government should fear its people. People shouldn't fear its government. The government should fear its people. That's how the government stays in check. That's what the Second Amendment's for. That's why they keep restricting it and limiting it, because they don't want to fear you anymore. Well, too fucking bad. When you fear me, you're kept in line. You're kept to the letter of the Constitution. You're held accountable. It's time for the government to fear us again. I don't know how we accomplish that, but it's time for the government to fear us again. Because if we can't accomplish that real quick, we're going to have to fight a war. We're going to, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're repeating the same, the path to these specific things are different, but we're repeating the same arguments that we had in the 1770s. During the American Revolution. We're going to have more than a civil war. It's going to be a full-blown revolution. The country might not survive this. People are already talking about peaceful divorce. They already want succession. People are already drawing lines in the sand. They're counting